The fact that, yeah, I should have stood up for my players, not DiDN Carrington in that moment. I should have stood up for Caitlin Clark, who was the real victim, not Alyssa Thomas in that moment. This lady still clearly don't get it. This lady don't get it, and she never, ever, ever will. Let's take a listen to what she had to say as she was questioned about it.
Whether it's the Caitlin technical or the hard foul the other night, what have you as a coach and this team learned about?
A sports commentary channel criticized Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White after she answered reporters' questions about recent controversial incidents involving her team, including a technical foul call on Caitlin Clark and a hard foul against Sophie Cunningham. Asked what the team had learned about handling distractions, White said she hoped the group had learned to be responsive instead of reactive, and described her players as doing a good job supporting one another.
Limiting distractions and just focusing on ball this season.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're not going to ever minimize it. Nothing that any one of us does is ever going to be we're going to please everyone all the time. I hope that the biggest thing that we learn is how to be responsive instead of reactive.
Learn how to be responsive instead of reactive. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Stand up for your damn team. How about that? That's why everybody's calling for your job right now.
She said she believed some outside parties were looking to create division, without naming anyone specifically. The channel's host argued White's comments amounted to avoiding responsibility and failing to publicly back her own players, contrasting her response to this incident with an earlier one in which she was seen as sympathetic toward Connecticut's Alyssa Thomas rather than Clark.
Everybody's calling for your damn job right now.
In certain situations, I think it's really easy, and especially for young people or for those who aren't in it every day, to react to everything that happens. It's also dangerous,
Okay, so should we not be reacting to the fact that you stood up for DiDN Carrington instead of Sophie Cunningham? Should nobody be reacting to the fact that you stood up for Alyssa Thomas, not Caitlin Clark? You don't have the people that's in your own damn locker rooms back.
The host argued White should have more directly condemned the fouls against her own players and called her remarks about division a deflection. He said he believed White should be fired as head coach.
And you're supposed to be the leader and the head coach. We're not supposed to. Oh, we're wrong for reacting to that, right?
To react to everything that happens, but I think just from a humanistic perspective and life lesson perspective, I think our group does a really good job of responding. I think our group does a really good job of pouring into one another, of keeping the main thing, of understanding that there are a lot of folks out there who want to divide us.
The video also featured commentary from Dan Dakich, a sports radio host, who was highly critical of White's response to a question about the foul committed by Connecticut's DiDN Carrington against Cunningham. White had said she did not believe the contact was intentional, while acknowledging it was a hard physical play.
A lot of folks out there who...
There goes the victim line. Now I'm going to rewind it for y'all. There goes the... to do a good job of keeping the main thing. Yeah, the players doing a good job of that. Caitlin Clark just hooping, not thinking about all this racism stuff they trying to talk about, not interested in talking about politics. Kelsey still doing her thing. Sophie doing her thing. Listen, the players have done a good job blocking out the nonsense and the noise. You, on the other hand, you are sitting here trying to play as if...
Dakich strongly disagreed with that assessment, arguing the contact was intentional and directed at Cunningham's neck, and said he found it unusual for a coach not to more forcefully defend her own player following a flagrant foul. Dakich used harsh, insulting language to describe White's intelligence and coaching ability, and made disparaging generalizations about the NBA's players, coaches, and leadership as a whole.
You're a victim, and the people are just intentionally looking for a reason to attack you. Oh, no, the people just are looking for a reason to divide us. No, oh, no, it's not because I don't stand up for the players on my roster. That's not why. What? Now you're trying to make yourself a victim.
Another of keeping the main thing, of understanding that there are a lot of folks out there who want to divide us, that there are a lot of folks out there who want to create more challenge.
The commentary also included personal remarks and speculation about Stephanie White's private life and relationships. Those comments were derogatory, unverified, and not something this summary repeats, as they go beyond reporting on the actual news event and cross into speculation about a private matter involving a named individual.
Challenges for us, and in our locker room we do a really good job of keeping that outside the locker room, and pulling for one another. I mean, you guys see it, the vibes are always pretty good in here. I'm proud of them for that, and I think, outside of even just the sport and outside of the job, it serves great life lessons for us as well.
Yo, this lady needs to be fired. She's horrible. She's absolutely horrible at her job. She's not a leader. She does not have her team's back. It's disgusting. And she's sitting here.
The Indiana Fever are facing renewed criticism of head coach Stephanie White following her public comments about a hard foul committed by DJ Carrington against Fever guard Sophie Cunningham. The foul, described by many observers as dangerous, led to Carrington's ejection from the game.
Now trying to play victim. Oh, no, these are just people trying to divide our locker room. No, you divided the locker room when you decide you want to back Alyssa Thomas and DJ Carrington over Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. Two dirty-ass plays happen. You don't want to call it out. You want to. We know why. I know your alliance to them with the letter mafia. I get it. But don't make it seem like people are making things up to divide the locker room. Knock it off. Have some accountability for a change.
Carrington later suggested on social media that the officiating decision and subsequent reaction to the play were influenced by racial bias, a claim that drew significant pushback and further intensified public attention on the incident. In post-game comments, White described Carrington, a former Fever player, as someone who competes at a high level and plays physically, and said she did not believe the foul was intentional, while also saying she did not object to the physical nature of the play.
See you, we're going. Next game. WNBA, worthless. They're not going to do anything about this. I mean, hell, they're having a meeting to try to figure out what a dick and balls is in a vagina. I mean, what are we talking about? What are we talking about here? So Stephanie White went out there, just like she did with Alyssa Thomas, and she backed her former player. Former is key. Now, guys, I cover the NFL, college football quite a bit.
Critics noted that in the same set of comments, White did not specifically address Cunningham's condition or offer public support for her own player, which became the central point of the criticism against her. This is not the first time White has faced criticism for how she talks about opposing players relative to her own roster.
Quite a bit. I'll give football coaches credit. Even if they don't believe it, when it comes to their team, they're going to lie their asses off. They're going to back their organization and their player until death is at the door. Not Stephanie White. No. Oh, a blonde, straight white player that has spoken up for women's rights.
Commentators pointed to an earlier incident in which she offered similar public support for Alyssa Thomas after a hard foul against a Fever player, again without emphasizing support for her own team. Some critics also noted an incident from the prior week in which Cunningham was hit in the face during a play and was whistled for the foul herself, arguing that White did not publicly contest the call at the time.
One straight white player that has spoken up for women's rights. Oh, Stephanie White doesn't want nothing to do with that. Doesn't check them boxes. Caitlin Clark, white, straight. Ixnay on the support. So we all watch this. To say Stephanie White's getting pulverized is an understatement. I said in multiple videos, she'd have been fired.
The controversy escalated when Indiana's Lieutenant Governor, Micah Beckwith, weighed in publicly, stating that the Fever should part ways with White. Beckwith argued that no effective coach would publicly side with a player from an opposing team over a player on their own roster following a flagrant foul, and suggested that the organization's handling of the situation reflected poorly on how much it valued its own players.
She'd have been fired yesterday. You're not going to represent this team and not back the players on it. I don't give a rat's ass if you don't believe it. You better go out there and put your best foot forward and act like you better at least publicly support your players and not the opposition's players. But that's the problem with this whole league. And that's why I say this league's not professional. It's not a serious league, because they're all a hoo-hoo and a ha-ha together.
He specifically referenced Cunningham and Caitlin Clark as the team's most popular players, and argued the coaching staff should be fully supportive of them. Additional commentary compared the situation to standards commonly seen in men's professional sports, arguing that coaches in leagues such as the NBA would be expected to
And a ha-ha together. That's what happens when you have these literal sexual relationships in a league between people on opposing teams. This is what she said. We'll get to the reaction in a second.
One of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup. And so I don't oppose the hard foul.
Commentators also raised broader questions about league oversight, asking whether Carrington would face any disciplinary action or fine for her social media posts made after being ejected from the game, and criticizing the WNBA for what they described as a slow or inadequate response to the incident overall.
She's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup. And so I don't oppose the hard foul. But I also don't think that she intentionally went for the net. One of the things
I also don't believe it was intentional, blah, blah, blah. Dejanay Carrington is the dirtiest player in the league, and Stephanie White knows it, but that's her home girl. Well, this got noticed. This is Micah Beckwith. This is the Indiana.
Throughout the discussion, commentators emphasized that the criticism directed at White stems from her public statements and the optics of appearing to defend an opposing player over her own, and argued that the backlash she is receiving is a direct and predictable result of those public comments rather than anything unrelated to the incident itself.
This is the Indiana Lieutenant Governor. The Indiana Lieutenant Governor saying no. No. Okay, Indiana Fever. Need to let Stephanie White go. No solid.
The episode adds to an ongoing narrative around White's tenure, with some suggesting she appears less invested in the current Fever roster and more focused on former players she has previously coached, though these claims remain speculative and unconfirmed.
No solid coach would ever take the side of an opposing team's player who committed a flagrant foul on one of her own players. It's terrible coaching. The Fever need to defend their players. The Indiana Fever act like they hate their own players, to be quite honest with you. The organization, the coach, do you value the players? Do you value the players on this team? You've literally got the...
As of this reporting, the Fever have not announced any change in coaching staff, and White has not issued additional public comment beyond her original post-game remarks.